Welcome everybody in. It did hit 3 o'clock just then, so we'll get started with today's webinar. I'd like to welcome everybody back to CAS 360 Education Week. My name is Daniel. I'm a member of the training and documentation team here, and today's topic is all about utilizing BGLiD for client verification. We do have a very special host today. Joining me today is the National Account Manager here at BGL, Karina. Karina, how are you doing?
Hi, Daniel. Hi, everyone. Thank you. I'm well.
That's
Pleased to be
great.
here today.
Awesome. She'll be taking over the webinar just a little bit later, but before we get into that, we do have a couple housekeeping matters, like always. Similar to the previous Education Week webinars, all attendees are on listen-only mode. However, if you do have any questions during the webinar, please use that Q&A function in Zoom. Myself, along with a couple of colleagues here from the training and documentation team, are here to answer your questions. As well, we'll have a short section towards the end to answer any further questions you might have regarding to BGLiD. Additionally, all of these webinars as a part of the Education Week will be recorded and will be uploaded to the BGL YouTube channel. You can see on your screen right now, we do have the timetable for CAS 360 Education Week. We're about halfway through now, and we have a couple more to complete tomorrow and the day after. So if you were interested, feel free to click the link in Zoom chat right now, and you can register for those webinars. Additionally, as well, all of these webinars will be uploaded to BGL's YouTube channel. But that's everything from me. I'll hand over now to Karina, who's going to talk to you about BGLiD. Karina, were you there?
Thank you, Daniel. So first of all, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us for our BGLiD webinar. So here's the agenda for today. We'll cover the basics of BGLiD, followed by a live demonstration. First, we'll talk about what BGLiD is, how it works, and why you should consider using it. I'll highlight some of the benefits BGL offers over other providers. Next, I'll walk you through a live demonstration of BGLiD, showcasing its features and functionalities. I'll also discuss what's next for BGLiD as we are continuously developing product. So we have exciting plans ahead. Lastly, I'll cover the pricing and how much it costs to use. So let's dive in and explore what BGLiD has to offer. So what is BGLiD? BGLiD is a new client identity verification service designed to help you verify the information your clients provide, ensuring it aligns with the identity documents they present. Since BGL specializes in software for accountants like yourselves, we've tailored BGLiD specifically for accounting firms. It seamlessly integrates with existing applications you're already using. For example, CAS 360, Simple Fund, and Simple Invest 360 to help you meet your compliance requirements efficiently. And we'll make sure to keep you updated on these developments anyway. So BGLiD is built into these applications, meaning there's no extensive setup required on your end. You can simply verify client identities directly within CAS 360, and integration with Simple Fund and Simple Invest 360 is on the way for early next year. Our goal was really to create an ID platform where data can be shared across applications. This really means that you don't have to verify the same identity multiple times in different applications. So once you have verified, the results can be shared across platforms instantly. So with BGLiD, you won't need any new setup applications or to create any additional accounts. You can simply add a credit card or payment method in My BGL, which is your client portal, and you're ready to go. So now let's explore how BGLiD can simplify your ID processes and enhance your current workflows. So how does BGLiD work? It really verifies the identity documents of your clients directly with the issuer of those documents. So, for example, when it comes to passports, we're really talking about the Department of Foreign Affairs and we're checking against their database. This means that whether the passport was issued by the Australian government or is a foreign passport registered in Australia, BGLiD will be able to verify this. Here, we also have various of other types of identity documents, including passports, as I have mentioned. Both Australian issued and foreign passports registered in Australia will be accepted. Next, we've got driver licenses, and these will be verified through the relevant state and territory road authorities. We then have Medicare cards, which was recently released, which will serve as a secondary identity document alongside the primary photo ID. So please keep note that the primary focus here for verifications is on photo ID documents. So you need the passport or the driver's license alongside with a Medicare card. So BGLiD not only confirms that the document is legitimate and valid, but it also ensures that they are issued or registered with the appropriate authorities. In addition to document verification, BGLiD will conduct several screenings. So first, we've got the AML screening, which will check for compliance with anti-money laundering regulations. We then have PEP and global sanction screenings, which will ensure their clients are not listed as politically exposed persons or on the global sanctions list. We then have the adverse media screening, which will involve checking worldwide news articles for any concerning information about the client. So these checks will comply with the global anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing legislation, really to provide you a comprehensive ID check and risk assessment for your firm. Therefore, you can really trust that your client verification process is thorough, compliant, and efficient. So all ID checks that you are performing in CAS 360 will be done through FrankieOne, which is our dedicated verification service. While you won't interact with FrankieOne directly, it really operates behind the scenes to connect BGLiD with various government authorities and databases, as I have mentioned. One of the key benefits of BGLiD, which I really love, is the instant result you receive. There's no waiting for hours or even days. Verification occurs in real time. So you'll really receive that immediate confirmation of your ID check alongside with your AML, PEP, and adverse media screenings. You will then also receive an instant report where you can easily print this and save it for your records. So BGLiD offers two primary methods of verification here. I'll explain both in detail before demonstrating them shortly. So the first method is request ID verification. This is useful where you don't have the client's driver's license or passport details on hand. In this case, you can simply email your client, prompting them to complete the verification themselves. So your client will receive the email, they will open it and follow the link to launch BGLiD. They will be required to then enter their identity document information and submit it. Once they've submitted their details, their work is done here. You will then receive an instant result verifying that the information provided is correct. So in your CAS 360 software, in the notification bell, you will be able to see the notification coming through, whether an ID has successfully passed or failed. We then have the second verification method, which is verify ID. This is used when you already have the client's details on hand. So for example, they come into your office and they're able to pass on their driver's license. So you will then be able to key in all this information into CAS 360 and verify their identity in person. You will then receive an instant result confirming whether the document is legitimate and accurate. However, please note that it is important to get consent from your client on both verification methods. You cannot perform an ID check on someone who hasn't consented to this check. So for example, with the request ID verification method, consent is really more straightforward as the client will enter in their own details and therefore consent through the verification system. With the verify method, you will be able to do this on your end. So here's some key points about the BGL ID service that we offer. So BGL ID does not store identity data within the BGL products. So specifically when using the request ID verification method, identity data such as passport numbers and driver's license details do not touch your BGL databases. Instead of storing sensitive information, BGL ID verifies the data and provides you simply with the result. So this approach aligns with the recommendations from the Tax Practitioners Board and the Tax Office, which clearly state that holding on to the identity information is not advisable. So as best practice, get your clients to perform the ID check from their end. With the request ID verification method, BGL products will only store the verification result and associated details, like what document was used, without retaining the actual identity numbers, which will minimize your risk. And you can't be compromised by data which you don't have access to. With the Verify ID method, it will require you to enter in the data for the verification, but as I've mentioned, you will be able to remove it after. Only the confirmation of the verification and the result will be stored. Information regarding AML, PEP, and adverse media screenings is shown to you and stored in the BGL product, as this data is public record. So I'll move on to the next thing. So simply, why should you use BGL ID? Using BGL ID will be crucial for everyone, especially in the light of the recommendations issued by both the ATO and the TPB for client ID verification. And you can also review this information yourself as well, going to their website by searching TPB, Proof of Identity Requirements for Client Verification. Additionally, I do want to also highlight that we go through the Australian Document Verification Service, DVS, to give you that peace of mind. We really designed BGL ID to help accounting firms meet these requirements effectively. Additionally, discussions around the AML and CDF proposed legislation have suggested that accountants, along with lawyers and real estate agents, may also be soon included in these future legislation requirements. So we are prepared to assist you with these evolving standards. So beyond compliance and everything else, verifying your client identities is all about minimizing your risk. Really knowing who you are doing business with will be essential, and BGL ID will be able to provide you some peace of mind. So if you ever had doubts about a client's identity, you can now eliminate that uncertainty by performing thorough checks. So some further benefits of using BGL ID over other identity verification applications would be how simple it is to access the identity verification. We've spoken to many firms during our research process, and we've noted that there was a lot of confusion around this and what applications to use. So to address this, we've created BGL ID for easy and straightforward access for all ID checks. Another benefit is that we don't have any lock-in contracts or any minimums. We offer a flexible pricing structure without any lock-in contracts, and you're not tied to using a set number of checks each month. So we really use a pay-as-you-go model. So for example, if you've onboarded a large number of clients one month, you only pay for those verifications. If you have fewer clients in another month, you will pay accordingly just for those clients. Lastly, BGL ID is developed and backed by our experienced team, ensuring a high quality product tailored to meet the needs of the accounting firms and anyone really that requires an ID check. You'll also have access to your beloved BGL support team here in Melbourne, really known for their excellent service and support. I once started in support, and I can tell you now that we take pride in what we do. So now let's jump into the product demo. Going to revert back to CAS. Just confirming everyone can see CAS 360.
Yep, we can see that one now.
Yep, awesome. Thank you. So just starting off with the global contact screening CAS 360. So as you can see, you will be able to see all your contacts within your database. So let's say that we have a user, I've got Warren here, and here's your firm or practice. You will be able to obtain their details. So just clicking onto Warren here, all you have to do is go to compliance, so the compliance tab, and let's say Warren has provided you with their license. So all you have to do is click on add identification and then click on driver's license. You will then have to fill in all their details and all the relevant information, and then you just have to click on save. Alternatively, if you've got their passport details, there will be a passport option as well. Once this has been completed, you will be able to click on verify identity. You will then have to select the first option and then click on select and run the ID verification from within here, and then click on proceed. Again, this tab over here is really important. So this is the consent tab, and you have to ensure that your client has provided you with consent to run this ID check. So you simply press the toggle to yes and confirm consent. Once the ID check has been completed, you will be able to track the status within the notification bell in CAS 360. As can be seen, the identity verification has failed for Warren because we haven't provided accurate information. So obviously this is just a test license, but if you were to use real life case scenarios, your ID should hopefully be successful. So this is the one of the methods that you can conduct the ID check. So going back to the global screen. We'll now go through the second option. So for example, I've got Andre here and I would like to conduct an ID check on his behalf. You simply click on request ID verification and you're entering their details. So their email address, in this instance, I'll use my own for demo purposes. And then click on save. And essentially what this will do, it will trigger an email to Andre. So there's a couple of checks here that you can pick and choose. So the first check, which is our Australian Government ID check, or the Australian Government ID check that will check for any adverse media, AML, global sanctions. And obviously, this is the different pricing. So the first check is $7 plus GST, and the second check is $9 plus GST. In this case, I'm going to request Andre to perform 2 sources of ID. So let's say driver's license and Medicare card, and then proceed. This will then take you to the preview email. So this is the email that your client will receive. And this is fully customizable. So once I'm happy with the email template and I've got the correct email address, click on send. Once the email has been sent, now I'll go through to what your client will be able to see. So shortly, I'll receive an email from ABC Accountants requesting me to input and conduct and verify my identity. So all you have to do, or all they have to do, is click on Verify Identity. They just have to do the two-factor authentication. And then add their identification documents. So in this instance, I'll select passport, and then you'll have to input the key details. And obviously the passport numbers and all the vital information here. Next, they'll also have to do another line of identity, which is, let's say, Medicare, or they can do the other one as well, which is the driver's license. Once they've inputted their Medicare details, they will be able to click on Submit. Once they've submitted their details, the verification is done instantly, so you don't have to do anything else. And no information is stored anywhere. So let's say that Andre has successfully conducted his ID check from his end. You will be able to track the status in the notification bell in CAS 360. You'll receive a notification similar to the notification I have here for James, where the identity verification results have been received and that the ID has succeeded. So for testing purposes, we're going to view the details, and we can see that the ID result has passed. So the Gov ID was successful, and we have verified the driver's license. In addition to this, you'll also be able to check for the result and evidence. So for example, CAS 360 will provide you with a report displaying all the information that was conducted for the ID check. As we can see, it has passed the PEP and sanctions check. Additionally to this, you'll also be able to conduct and run a few reports to keep track of all the ID checks performed. So we've got some AML reports, and this is in the report screen within CAS 360. So we have a compliance report, a compliance status listing report, an ID verification status listing report as well, and an identity expired report. So for example, if a client's driver's license or passport has expired, you may need to conduct another ID check to ensure that the new passport and driver's license is compliant and legitimate. You can simply export the document as a PDF or an Excel file. And this is what the report will look like. So you'll be able to see the contact, the identity type, the issue date, and expiry date. So for example, if the passport has expired, you may consider to conduct another ID check for the client. Another way where you can locate and conduct an ID check is directly from within the company screen. So moving on to the company selection screen, I'll select the first company, BGL Inc., and then go to the Offices tab. You will then be able to conduct the BGL ID check from within this screen as well, whether it's the first option to verify the identity or to request the ID verification directly from the client. So I'm just going to go back to the global screen now. Just going to Aaron, and I just wanted to talk about some of the failed ID checks. So for example, it will always provide you a breakdown of when an ID has failed and why. So in this case, I can see that the ID verification failed on the 9th of the 10th, and it tells me to investigate the PEP sanctions further. So for example, I can see that Aaron has a risk level of medium. And then let's see. Yep. So in this case, because this is a testing environment, it won't provide me any additional information, but you will be able to see further information of why this has failed.
So thank you very much, everyone, for joining.